28-ounce cans of tomato puree. And what I'm going to add to that is 2 tablespoons of Thai basil. I love Thai basil in this sauce for some reason. Don't ask me why. And I don't really like to cut it up because I like it to sit overnight and marry all the flavors. If there's anything that chefs like, is they love freshness and flavors. Stir that in. I'm going to add a teaspoon, a quarter teaspoon of red peppers. It's going to add a little bit more heat in that building process, and it's going to be really nice. And I don't mind leaving the chunks a little bit bigger. If you like little chunks, just chop it up the way you want and make it really fine, but it's Italian. Okay. Next, I'm going to do salt and pepper to taste. And I don't want to do a lot because it's going to, like I said, it's going to set overnight. And because it's setting overnight, I want all the flavors to marry. Pizza dough is kind of a temperature type thing. It's a controlled temperature type recipe. And what you do is you're going to make a slurry, a little slurry out of the yeast and the sugar and the honey. I put honey in mine. You can use honey or sugar. And when you use the honey or the sugar, that's what's going to activate the yeast. So what you want to do is I put the salt in already. I'm going to add in the honey. And I'm going to add the water. And it's 1 1/4 cups of water, 103 degrees. Okay. Now there's a lot of different things that can be said. You can do 100 to 105. Don't do it more than 107. I always like to do it 103 because back when I was learning about yeast and everything, that was my favorite station on Classic Rock, 103. Stir it up. Mix it all, dissolve the salt. Make sure the honey gets all dissolved. And we're going to put the yeast in. Just let that set for about a minute or two before you stir it. And over here, I have 3 1/2 cups of flour. Okay. What I'm going to do is just like you were going to make a pasta. I'm going to make a well in the middle. And I'm going to add my liquid to that. When I add my liquid, I'm just going to let it set for another couple minutes. Okay. You want to get see if the yeast is activated. Sometimes with this yeast, if it's not bubbling and foaming and everything. I'm going to stir it up real quick. And we're going to add it. Make sure everything gets in there. Very important, once again, when you're incorporating yeast in any kind of leavening product, because you want to make sure it takes. Okay, I'm going to let that set for about 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, so now we've made the well, and we've added the yeast and the honey and the salt. Like I said, you could do honey or sugar. It's just a matter of feeding the yeast. And now you can see it starting to bubble. So what I'm going to do is, until this gets a little bit all incorporated, I'm just going to stir it by a utensil. And after that, I'll break in my hands and we'll start rolling it and playing with it like we always like to play with dough. Okay. And here we go. Just squeeze it and work it. What you're doing is you're just making all of it come together. push it down. And then when you get done with this, this will go into a refrigerator for 12 hours. I'm gonna leave it, or double in size. If you really want to eat fast, go ahead and put it next to a warm spot, and it'll double in size, and you won't have to worry about a cold fermentation. Okay. There you go. And what we're going to do is we're going to cover this up with plastic wrap and bring it back. All right, now that I've got the dough divided and ready to go for my next application, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do some breadsticks, okay? And what you'll see up here is you see this, it's a compound butter. What a compound butter is ingredients added to soft butter, then rolled up in a roll and put in the freezer. And then that way, if you want to slice it, you can put it on fish, chicken, or whatever. And we'll get more into that when we get into sauteing, okay? So I'm going to roll this. And these about are 5 ounces each. I'm not really worried about rolling this round. I'm worried about more or less the breadsticks that I want to make first. Okay. And there we go. So what I'm going to do right now is just take the pizza cutter, about finger width, and I'm going to lay this on the parchment paper so I can slide it off into the pizza stone. I'm going to let them proof just a little bit. They're really nice, and the oven proof will really shoot them up anyway, but about 2 or 3 minutes we're going to let them proof, and then I'm going to set them in the oven. Okay, I just pulled the breadsticks out of the oven, and you can see they're nice and golden brown. I'm going to take this garlic butter, this soft compound garlic butter, freshly made, and just slather the breadsticks with that. And if you want, this is a little added bonus, is you can put a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top. Serve it with a ranch or a marinara or plain. Yes! Okay, so what I did is I went and got the doughs that were 12 hours in a fermentation, cold fermentation. Cold fermentation is just means that you're stunting the growth of the yeast. Okay, you don't really want to. If you want to activate it, leave it out. If you don't want to activate it and slow it down, put it in cold. Okay, so what I have here is I have these that I'm going to roll out, and each one of these doughs makes 2, depending on how you cut it, 2 10-inch pizzas. Okay, and what you want to do is you want to keep pinching it and working it into the middle, so you're pinching it and strengthening your glutens. Okay, and you can do this by doing this, or holding your hand and turning it inside out. Okay, it's easier to do this way because it's funner also. So you do that about 6 or 7 times, and then you put it over here, seam side down, little flour on the top, okay? And then you're going to do the same thing with the other half, okay? Just keep working it inside out, working into the middle. All you're doing is just making the flour stronger, the glutens, okay? Okay, there we go. All right, so these are ready for pizzas or breadsticks or calzones. Our next on the demonstration list is going to be calzones. I have done each dough separated it and pinched it in the middle to strengthen the glutens. I'm going to take this mixture, which you'll have recipes at the bottom, and I want to put a little bit of this ricotta. It's a ricotta cheese with arugula, salt, pepper, spinach, and what we're going to do is we're going to fold it and we're going to crimp it, okay? Make sure that when you get through the crimping, try to grab the bottom crust and seal it. Give it a good pinch. And don't worry, because I'm going to do 2 more, so if you didn't get it on this one, you'll get it on the next one. Set it right over here. All right. And you can change the fillings. You can have meat fillings. I like this because it's vegetarian. And it's also healthy. Even with all the cheese and all the spinach, it's still not healthy. So we're gonna go ahead and roll this out and make another calzone. Make it sort of oblong. Put your filling in the middle and fold it over like a turnover. Turn it on the side and then just start crimping. Pull up, pull over, up and over, up and over, up and over, up and over until we get all the way to the end and just make a little pigtail. Okay? And we're going to put that right here. All right, so the last one, we're still going to, like I said, well, I'm going to change this one, to be honest with you. Just so that you can see that we can go away from health. Remember to roll it in about an oblong. Pick it up. Practice. Roll it. Pick it up. You can pick it up and stretch it like this too. Okay. And we're going to make a chicken calzone. Add a little bit of sauce. And a little bit of mozzarella. Okay. And then fold it over like a turnover. Seal it. Turn it on the side. And start crimping. Out, over, out, over, out, over, out, and over. Remember that you get the bottom one to come over the top. And then when you get down to the end, just give it a quick turn. And then you've got your calzone. And you just give this another quick turn. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush these with egg wash. And I'm going to make a vent hole in top of it. Okay, now that we've got the calzones folded and sealed, what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of egg wash for give some color. All I do is I crack a whole egg, add a little water to keep it from spreading on too thick. I don't want scrambled eggs on top of my calzones. If I do that, I'll go to Denny's. So, and then just go ahead and smear it all around. Make sure you get everything that you want to brown. Get the little pigtail. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that you get a knife and put a vent hole in the middle. Okay? Okay? All right. Now we're all ready to go to the oven. And on this one, I'm gonna do it at 400 degrees for about 10 minutes, and we'll check the time and see what we look like at 10 minutes. Okay, they just came out. We cooked them at 400 for 15 minutes. A couple things you want to look at, see if it's nice and hard crust, which it is. Make sure you turn it over to make sure that it gets a little brownness on the bottom. And they're pretty much done. One thing, if you want, you can smear some garlic butter on them, but the only thing is that'll make them soft. If you like hard calzone, don't worry about it. I'm just going to do it on one of them just to show you how nice and shiny it looks. And there you go. And now we're going to do cut-ups for kids. I'm going to show you how to make a couple of different patterns out of the doughs. These are the dough. Each dough recipe makes about a 15-ounce dough ball, okay? And that's good for one big pizza or a lot of different cut-ups. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put down a little flour so it doesn't stick, and we're just going to roll. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do some strips, make them real skinny so we can have a lot of them, okay? And then this is going to be a single knot, okay? Another single knot, a double knot, okay, do another double knot since we're on a roll.
Pun intended.
Yes. Okay, over and then back under and then onto the parchment. Okay. We'll do a pigtail, which is do like this, hold the dough like this, and then just keep spinning it around each other. Okay. And then lay that on your cookie sheet. You might have to manipulate a couple more pigtails. We'll make another one. Just that could be a. What you can do with these also is if you want to make out of a small sheet is to brush it with egg wash and then sprinkle some Parmesan cheese on it and then cut it on your pizza dough. Then you can make little twists. And how we do that is we take one strip, pull it out a little bit, and go opposite directions. Okay? And we get a cheese straw. Okay? See how it's rolled into there? We'll do the same thing. Go opposite directions. You can just twist the ends. Okay. Now we're going to do some breadsticks. Make those a little bit wider and we'll cut them in half. And these are going to have to be done at 2 different times, depending on the size of each strip or each twist you're going to do or cut up you're going to do. Like this one right here, we can go ahead and put this into the oven right now, and we can let, in about 10 minutes, they'll be ready, and you'll have some munchies. Okay, just sprinkle some, either some salt or some more Parmesan cheese or something like that, and make it sort of like a pretzel. Okay, we're gonna make a couple of breadsticks. Okay, and let them proof a little bit. And these are the delicious ones that you want to dip into your marinara or ranch or spread some garlic butter on it. Okay, there's going to be that. Now we're going to do calzone, okay? Or we can do little pockets, like cheese pockets. You can do cheese pockets out of this, okay? Take a little triangle, take a little bit of a ricotta mix or whatever flavor of your choice that you want to do. You can do meat, you can do you can do pepperoni, you can do more cheese in it, whatever you want to do. It's going to be your little cheese pocket, okay? What we're going to do, fold this over, pinch that, and it's unlike a calzone. We don't really have to twist this and fold it. We can leave it just like this. Just make sure that you get all your seams pressed together. Okay, we'll do a couple more. Okay. We'll do one more of this. And we're going to go corner to corner and then just smash it. Make sure it's sealed. Come around here, do the same thing. Okay. Put it around there. And we're going to do our next one is just going to be pepperoni and cheese and a little sauce. Little cheese, little sauce, and fold. Bring it back so that you can get the seal on it. And we have a cheese pocket, okay? You're gonna want to take a knife, a pointed knife, and just make a little hole right in the middle of it. And what that'll do is it'll let the air out so it doesn't explode. All right, that's it. Okay, we left these in for 5 minutes and we went ahead and they proofed up a little bit, and so we put them in there. And if you want to put some garlic butter on top of them, you can do that. And then give it a little bit of shine, a little bit of added flavor. Okay. And there you go. Last part of this video on the pizza section. We're going to do a pizza. I am going to show you, sometimes you get these little air pockets up here with the gas bubbles. Try just to like shape your dough and not disturb those, because what'll happen is that's flavor. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do, and I want to show you, if you put your pizza dough over your knuckles and rotate it, the weight will make the pizza come out longer. And then you can put it down here and you can see how much we've stretched that out. Okay. And this is for one pizza dough. This is the recipe of one pizza dough. All right. Right now what I'm going to do is we're going to make an Alfredo pizza. Okay. I made an Alfredo sauce earlier this morning. The recipe will be in the description box. You'll spread that, all that flavor around there. Oh my goodness. Yes. There's was an expression that we used to have at one of the restaurants I worked at, is that there's 6 places in Italy that make the perfect Alfredo, and 5 of them are in Italy. And I always got put to the test on my Alfredo, and I did not back down. Okay, so there we go. Nice. And we're going to do cheese. And more cheese. Can't never get too much cheese. And then we're going to add a little twist to this. We're going to put some bacon on there. It's almost like a carbonara pizza. Just a little bit, just to give it the grease. I mean the flavor.
Healthy.
Yes, yes. All right, so now we're going to slide this pizza. The ingredient we're going to put on there is going to be chicken. Some nice grilled chicken with a little mesquite flavor to it, just to kick it up. Okay, so here we go. A little more cheese on top of the chicken. There we go. All right, so now we have our pizza, and that was at 10 minutes at 400 degrees. And it's just now coming out, and we'll see if we can pass the pizza test. I hear a little crunch on the end. Okay. Okay. And there we go. Okay, so just remember that the recipe and all the ingredients are in the direction box below.